Hello, listeners. Thank you for joining me on 21st Century Native Leaders. My name is Peter Deswood III. I hope you enjoy this podcast episode. Please comment and share this so other people can hear the experiences of my guest today. Thank you and enjoy. Hello, listeners. Thank you for joining me on 21st Century Native Leaders. My name is Peter Deswood III, and I am here with Bertina and Hamilton Cadman. Bertina and Hamilton operate Juniper Coffee and Eatery in Farmington, New Mexico. Thanks for being on the show. So, talk with me a little bit about your tribal affiliation. I know you're both Navajo, but maybe introduce yourselves in Navajo, your clans.
Okay. Yate. She Hamilton Cadman Yinishi. Nakai Dine. Ishle. Ashche. Bachishin. Mashin Dashiche. Torich Eaton Dashinale.
Nice. So just so you know, I actually taught some Cadmans out in Tohatchee, so okay. I kind of knew you're from that area.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
That's awesome. And you, Bertina, what are your clans? Audit Nana.
Adonan Shlenigi a Bidanin Shlan Twanasani Bushishin, Kinfichini Dashiche, Do Ashihan Dashinale. And I'm originally from Santa Desaha, Rock Point, Arizona.
Talk with me a little bit about how you all decided to open this coffee shop, this awesome business in Farmington near San Juan College.
Okay, so we've been operating as a catering business in this area for the past 9 years or so. And we've been operating as Waterbird Catering. And about a year ago, this space on College Boulevard opened up. It just so happened to have a kitchen space that we needed. So we started leasing it. And it just also happened to have an extra space in the front, which I think previous owners used as a cafe. And so within the year, we developed it into what it is today, which is a coffee shop and eatery. I guess the inspiration behind it was just, living here in Farmington and not seeing anything that was contemporary Native inspired. When you think of Farmington, everything is kind of based around trading posts and arts and crafts, rug weaving, pawn shops, and there's really not anything that's contemporary Native owned operations. So I think that was the biggest inspiration behind opening something like this up.
I think it was more or less like along the lines of what Bertina said, utilizing this space here solely for the kitchen to run our catering operation, but more or less as a means to supplement the income because of the space here. And, it sounded like a really good idea. So that was kind of another reason why Juniper came about, I'd say. And to just, in a way, support the Native community, as she was saying, here in Farmington, as well as, other border towns, to kind of just give that good representation.
Right.
Through business for, the Native community.
Right. So you talked about the catering business. So are you still running the catering business? I think I heard you say you're running out of this kitchen now. Is that correct?
Yeah, we still run it. We're just kind of more selective about the jobs that we do because this is kind of a full-time thing now. If it's local, we'll do it. If it's doable, we'll go ahead and take it on.
So talk with me a little bit about the idea of Juniper. Where did that come from?
The name, the concept?
Yep.
I guess we just wanted something suitable to this area. If you drive by this plaza where Juniper is located, it's located among a bunch of different trees, pinon trees, including juniper trees. There are juniper trees that just grow right outside our shop. We thought it would be suitable to this area, for one. Secondly, it's kind of an important or significant element in Dine culture.
Mm-hmm.
In Dine, we refer to it as gud.
Mm-hmm.
We obtain juniper ashes from it, gud, bits ash, and that's what we make from it. And it's also a plant. It's something that grows,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of significant to our business. We would like for it to be something that grows continuously, So that's kind of the idea behind the name.
Oh, that's awesome. So talk with me a little bit. Any formal business experience, or I think I remember talking with your brother and he said that one of you went to culinary school. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, as far as like educational background, I have a bachelor's in Native American Studies and History. I went to Dartmouth College after high school. When I graduated from there, I kind of had a choice, should I go do something like law school or medical school? But I chose culinary school.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I guess to be different. And I went to Scottsdale Culinary School. That's where I got my formal culinary training. And then Hamilton here is a student at Fort Lewis College. He's studying business administration.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. So you take what the book says and you try to implement it here in the shop?
I honestly try to, and to be totally honest, just receiving, my associates from Samuel College and finishing up at Fort Lewis, I kind of feel that a lot of the stuff that I've learned in school is things that I could have learned just by going to the library. That's my feeling.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
how I feel. But to answer your question, yes, I do try my hardest to try to apply what I've learned
Mm-hmm.
in school here at the shop. And a lot of the times, what's read in a book, it's kind of like really not that way when you're doing it firsthand,
Right.
So it's kind of more or less like learning as you go,
Right.
but still trying to apply maybe some of those principles in certain areas of business. But yeah, that's where it's at.
That's true. How to navigate like real world stuff, I think, is different than what
Very.
you can read in a book. And as far as case studies, I think that's the tough part. Is like
Yes.
if someone else's experience, they don't give you all the details. So
Yes.
that's pretty important. So talk with me about some of the. How did you get regulated? Business license to operate here in Farmington. What's that like?
So in order to get this place, there are a lot of clearances and licenses that we had to obtain. Number one, we had to get business identification. We're an LLC. We
Mm-hmm.
operate as an LLC, so we had to apply for that, first of all, the structure. And then we had to get a business license. But before getting a business license, we had to get an okay from the Department of Health. Everything needed to be up to code in here as far as like fire extinguishers or hood system, sanitation, certifications. Once we had all those clearances, we went to the city and we finally got the okay
Mm-hmm.
our business license. I think those were the biggest ones that we had to get. Right? Am I missing anything?
I don't think so.
Oh, and then through the fire department too, we had to get a clearance with them. I think that's it.
Oh yeah. So talk to me about the LLC. Who helped you with an LLC? Did you seek a lawyer?
We actually did a lot of it ourselves because starting up, we couldn't really afford professionals. So a lot of the stuff we did was probably just researching it on our own, and we got a lot of help from across the street, the Business Development Center at Samuel
Okay.
College.
Mm-hmm.
If we were ever in a bind, we just went over there and they helped us out.
So
But
did you attend some of the small business workshops that San Juan College puts on?
back in 2013, I think I took part in a class. I think it was like a 8-week class that they offer for business entrepreneurs, and I remember attending that. That was pretty helpful. And it just kind of steers you in the right direction, you know.
Right.
And eventually, after a while, reading stuff about starting up a business, it all starts to sound the same. And the trick is just to start doing it.
Okay.
Like everybody tells you, you need a business plan, you need a business plan, you need a business plan. You think about it in your mind and you're thinking, okay, I have an idea. Yeah, this is how my business plan's going to go. But it's another story when you actually sit down and start writing it and finish it from beginning to end. We kind of put it off for the longest time, and when we actually finally sat down and wrote it out, it was really helpful. And that's kind of what we go by every day. And that's what everybody tells you.
Yeah.
It's true. It's very true. Your business plan is something that you have to abide by on a daily basis. So if there's any advice I would give any entrepreneurs, write your business plan and go by it.
So would you recommend they write it first or take the approach and write it a little bit later?
I would say get some experience first, because we put it off for a while and then we wrote it. So I feel like we kind of learned on the job and got some experience first and kind of really developed some ideas, and through that it was a little easier to write.
Yeah. Wow. So Hamilton, people think that, oh, the entrepreneur, yeah, you have your own business. Is it ever, oh, it's 5 o'clock, we're going home, or is it constantly always worrying about the business, Monday through Monday? Talk to me a little bit about that.
I think that being an entrepreneur and working for yourself kind of like says it. You know, you're doing everything for yourself. Everything is on you. And what you put in is what you get out. You know, you can just do 9 to 5, 8 hours a day, you know, but I feel that it's only going to get you so far. When you work for yourself, especially at the beginning, there's, you know, it's in a way, it's like a lifestyle almost. It becomes a part of your life. It encompasses like almost every part of your life, you know, because that's how you're taking care of yourself. You know, if you have a family, that's how you're feeding your family. So it's kind of hard not to think about it, but you find yourself constantly thinking about it because at the end of the day, everything's on you. You know, your choices, your decisions, it's all up to you. And when you put it in that context, you know, you can't help but not think about it a lot. And we find ourselves at times, you know, people talk about finding a balance, setting, you know, boundaries, I guess you say, which is important. But, you know, I feel that it is a challenge to do that because you get so involved in your work, and a lot of the times, you know, that's all you find yourself doing. And sometimes you do have to stop and be like, whoa, you know, I have children at home. I have a family, you know. So I would say that being an entrepreneur is not as easy as people may think it is. You know, just because, you know, you run your own business, I think a lot of people assume that you have money, you get to do what you want. You know what I mean? But there is that possibility that it can be like that. But I feel that a lot of people that are like that, you know, I'm sure they have a story to tell.
Right.
Of how they got to be where they are. And I think a lot of the times it involves like a lot of hard work, you know, a lot of, just a lot of hard work. That's what I would say, you know, and that's where I think it's at. I don't think it's an easy title to carry. I think that not everybody, you know, I would encourage everybody to do it, you know, but I don't know, it's a lot, you know.
Right.
That's how I feel, and I don't know. It is what it is, and It's not easy, but it is rewarding to say, regardless of the countless hours, the blood, the sweat, the tears, whatever, being an entrepreneur for me today is almost like having, like, carrying that badge. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that not I have all this money or I get to do what I want or this and that, but just knowing that at the end of the day, that everything you do is for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're working for yourself. You're
Right.
breaking your back for yourself, and somewhere in there, like, there's little rewards here and there that you kind of see, that it kind of shows you every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
For us, I think one of the biggest, rewards of being an entrepreneur for us today, for me, that I think is awesome, is that I get to be around my children all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There are successful people out there that maybe do work for corporations, maybe they're executives or they hold some high position.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at them, maybe they're constantly gone.
Yeah.
I always felt that in order to make something work, whether you work for somebody else or you work for yourself, like I said earlier, you have to make it a part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You have to live it, breathe it, all of that,
Mm-hmm.
in order for it to work. Previous jobs that I've had, I worked with managers in other businesses, and I've seen some that were successful and some that weren't so not successful. The ones that I've seen that were successful were the ones that were there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that they did.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that they did. And I'm like, wow. But I think that that's the price you have to pay
Right.
to make something go, until you can get it to where maybe you have people, to run it for you. But that takes some time,
Yeah.
and it's not easy. So being able to be with our children and being able to be around them, we get to see them in the morning, see them at night, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And watch them grow up more or less,
Mm-hmm.
because we have that freedom. We're not 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and
Right.
have to go somewhere, need be, we can drop what we're doing and go if we wanted to,
Right.
So those little types of, I don't want to call it reward, but incentive,
Right.
or something.
Incentive,
just being
yes, uh-huh.
an entrepreneur.
Right.
That's what I think is rewarding. So that's kind of what I think being an entrepreneur is about.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, but it is enjoyable. It becomes a lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that you begin to appreciate. It's something that you kind of like hold your head up high.
Right.
Like, in the sense that, I'm doing this for myself.
Yeah.
I'm not breaking my back for somebody else.
Yep.
And I'm investing in something. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
And to know at the end of the day that you did all that work and it's for yourself, it's rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you feel good. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's like a pat on the back. So that's what I think.
That's so true. I like the way you talked about that, how you said, you kind of wrap yourself around it. And honestly, it made me think of our ancestors, like it was a lifestyle, right? They were sheep herders. They raised livestock. It was just what they did. They were there and took care of their kids. My dad's side of the family, my Nolly raised 13 kids, right,
Mhm.
with sheep, right? And that's the biggest form of entrepreneurship is a family farm.
Mhm.
So I look at that, and it's pretty cool to hear you talk about that and
Yeah.
hear you share that experience. In fact, it made me think about, the Navajo prayer. They say, Yoda Kas Sa, right? Like that helped me grow, or that wealth. Like,
Definitely.
you talked about that, and I like that you said that. So, Bertina, talk with me about some of the challenges you all have overcame to get this business up and running. It's probably daily, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge was probably, well, one of them, being able to balance our personal and business lives. We have small children, and like Hamilton said, it's kind of a challenge to balance the two. So trying to raise a family and trying to run a business every day and try to give attention to each as much as we could. That's a daily challenge. Like today, I wasn't able to come to work because one of our kids got sick, so I had to stay home with him, and I couldn't be here. And I'm sure that these guys kind of felt like there was a missing arm or something, and things like that. Another challenge was probably just getting something like this up and going. Financially, it's not easy to find money, to do something big and to find the resources to put something to your heart's desire together. And it's not like people are, standing with arms out, hands full of money, like here you go. But you have to look for those resources. And I think that was one of the biggest challenges, finding resources to put together something to your heart's content.
I would say that the challenge, kind of along the lines of Bertina, would be working together as a husband and wife.
And that's another one.
Tell you, finding that balance, being able, because you see you're around each other 24/7, and for most people, their spouses, they go their separate ways to work, they're gone all day, and come together in the evening time or whenever, have dinner, and it's probably enjoyable. Probably pleasant. You talk to one another and you tell each other about your days, your experiences, what happened, kind of like how we do with our children. How was your day? What did you learn? This and that, and you get to visit with one another.
Right.
But for us, it's like you already know. This is in and out, day and day. And for me personally, I think that is a challenge. It's not easy, but it is rewarding in its own way. Just knowing that you can totally trust somebody that you're working with, that is not going to stab you in the back, or that's not going to, do you wrong.
Right.
So I think that's one. And then I think another challenge is just constantly trying to, I guess, be intuitive, because like I was saying earlier, everything's on you. You're running the show. Somebody's not telling you what to do.
Right.
Like I say, what you put in is what you get out. And being at the level that we are, it does get competitive. Being a small business, you hear it all the time, radio statistics, so many small businesses fail every year, and being a small business, you can see that.
Yeah.
You can relate, like it is hard. Like she was saying, financially, that's one of the biggest things. Things are so expensive. You were talking about, how to get up to code and how to make things legit. That costs money, taxes, insurance. It's like, oh my God, it's like, it never ends, and it just never stops. And, and if you can't constantly be thinking over there ahead, what can I do? What can I do? You're just constantly thinking all the time. What can I do to bring in more customers? What can I do to increase sales? How can I make this work? And it's just not you. In our industry in particular, geez, how many restaurants are in Farmington?
Right.
And you're competing against all of them almost. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so being a small business, in particular a native-owned business, it is challenging, just trying to constantly be ahead and to figure out how you're going to make it work day in and day out,
Yeah.
Every day brings something new.
Right.
It's not the same, One day you can be up, one day you can be down, know. And then also finding a way to motivate yourself every day, Come on, let's do it. How are we going to do this? We got to do this. Everything's on us. We got to make this work. So just being an entrepreneur, finding that motivation to keep you going, day in and day out, especially when times get trying,
Right.
because like she was saying, it gets crazy sometimes. And then when things get all like wild sometimes, you just sometimes ask yourself, what the heck am I doing?
Yeah.
Seriously,
Right.
like this is crazy,
Mm-hmm.
But those are some of the challenges that I can think of right now that are there.
Yeah, Carrie and I can relate with you all for working together. We actually went to grad school together, so we were together like all the time for 2 hours. Well, for 2 years, classes, workout, everything. Right, for 2 years. When our youngest was like 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the nice thing was, we stayed home with her too.
Yeah.
But we were with each other for 24 hours a day, and I could you definitely know your partner and everything, right?
Yes. And then just finding that separation, because with business and your personal life, it's so intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
And you do talk about, people say you need to find that balance. It's like, how? It's so intertwined,
Yeah.
And for me, it's, being able to put on that personal hat and that business hat
Mm-hmm.
when you need to, because you're around each other so much, you know each other so much, that you might be in the business setting, you might be working, and for me, it's hard not to take things personal sometimes, like especially when you're being told what to do, or you're being called out on something,
Mm-hmm.
and I know where they're coming from, I know where she's coming. It's all for the betterment of the business, it's something that we should be doing, but it's kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
At home is a different story, like but here in business, you can't be like that.
Right.
You cannot be like that, especially in front of your employees and especially in front of your customers. You have to keep that professionalism,
Yeah.
some sort of professionalism. So being able to, I guess, know when and where, how to be, I guess, is a challenge. That's for me.
Right.
It might be easy for her.
Right. So I tell you what, though, like even though Carrie and I were together all the time, like we went, like when we moved back to Farmington, like we both, went back to work, and then like we missed it. We missed being with each other, right?
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Because we're always we knew we were just there. Like it was like after a while, we worked synergistically.
Yep.
Right. So that leads to my next question. I mean, do you guys just have like, your routines that you get into with, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that, then you just go about your day? Talk to me about that.
It's gotten to that point, I think. Like, we both know the areas that we're good at.
Mm-hmm.
I know the things that Hamilton's good at, and so I just kind of leave it up to him to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably feels the same way. He's kind of here for Juniper, he's the front end guy.
Mm-hmm.
Takes care of the coffee, the customer service, the staff, and we kind of established that, and I'll just leave that to him. And I'm kind of in the back with the food, menu development, and just inventory and things like that. Like clerical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take care of that stuff. And yeah, we've developed a routine. I think we know what to do. We know what needs to be done. We've worked together for so long that we kind of read each other's minds.
Mm-hmm.
In a way. Sometimes I'll be thinking something and he'll be on it already, and so it works out like that. So I guess there's some benefits to being together all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of know how you behave, each other's behaviors, and you go based on that.
Wow, that's awesome. So who takes care of your advertising?
We do.
Yourself, okay.
We don't really have anything professionally right now.
Uh-huh.
We're actually amazed at how much attention we've gotten on social media.
Uh-huh.
And we just kind of created a page on Facebook, and we're pretty active on Instagram. But our customers are kind of our biggest form of advertisement, and we like that, and
Mm-hmm.
I think we prefer that because we've come to find through catering, word of mouth is the best form of advertising.
Uh-huh.
With catering, we did some formal advertising, but it seems like most of the customers we did get were repeat customers.
Mm-hmm.
It's through word of mouth. And so we're just kind of leaving it at that for now. But that's what we've done so far, just social media stuff. And I think it's working pretty good for now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ideally, I think that in the future, kind of how we talk, we feel that, Juniper can be something. It can become something just with what we've seen, the feedback. And like she was saying, we do prefer kind of how it is. Sometimes customers come in and I go ahead and give them a little spiel. Maybe we start talking, and I do tell them that, yeah, sales are important,
Mm-hmm.
because we have our overhead, we have bills we need to pay, our own personal bills, So yeah, ideally you do want as many customers as you can get, you want those sales because that's how you make your money.
Right.
But on the other side, kind of, I'm liking just easing into it
Mm-hmm.
through word of mouth. Social media we can't control really.
Right.
It just takes off on its own. But through word of mouth, it allows us and it gives us that opportunity, because this is, we've never done this before,
Mm-hmm.
and it's given us the opportunity to ease into it, to fine tune things, to make adjustments. Maybe it gives us that time to make corrections, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we first opened, we did have a soft opening
Mm-hmm.
the day before. We did a soft opening on a Saturday. We opened up the following Monday. But that soft opening was just friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And our end, it was more or less to like, okay, this is how it's going to be. So it kind of gave us a little practice run before we initially opened our doors.
Mm-hmm.
And when we opened our doors, we didn't do like a grand opening.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do any formal advertising, newspaper, radio, whatever.
Yeah.
We just opened our doors. We don't even have a sign up the door.
Mm-hmm.
Our sign's not illuminated. It's just a simple sign up there. But I kind of like that because, I was telling her, I don't want a line out the door. Like some people, an example would be maybe like food chains.
Mm-hmm.
They want that line out the door.
Yeah.
They want a huge line. They want people to just pack. They want to pack it in.
Yeah.
But that's what they're designed for. They've gotten to that point in their organization to where they know how things are going to go. They
Mm-hmm.
know it down to a T. And for us, this being the first time, it's not like that for us.
Mm-hmm.
And my biggest thing that I strive for every day is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
What my customer came in and, they enjoyed, and I hope they enjoyed. Let's say they do come in, that was really good. Maybe they tell us that.
Mm-hmm.
I asked them how things were, and they said it was really good. They enjoyed it. They say, okay, I'll come back. When they do come back, I want it to be the same experience.
Mm-hmm.
I want that. And I feel through easing into it, it's allowing us to do that.
Oh, that's good.
Because the worst thing that I want is to have a big old crowd coming in, line out the door, and maybe equipment malfunctions,
Mm-hmm.
or something happens and customers start leaving, or we serve them something that isn't how we wanted it to be,
Mm-hmm.
and they're disappointed. It don't take nothing but one customer, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Social media, it don't take nothing but one picture, and it goes. And that's one thing that I'm afraid of, I guess you would say. I wouldn't, maybe not afraid, but I just really try to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
And so through kind of just going about it the way that we are, word of mouth and social media is giving us that opportunity to make sure that we are consistent, and that is giving us that control, and that we are trying to give our customers, the best product that we can.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things also that we wanted to do with Juniper was showcase local talent, local businesses, native-owned
Mm-hmm.
organizations, people just like us, trying to help promote them.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to do that on our Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that have come through here that are native-owned businesses that kind of offer their services.
Mm-hmm.
For example, there was a girl that came in a few days ago offering her marketing services.
Mm-hmm.
She just graduated from college, and she was trying to start something up on her own. So we would be happy to give somebody like that our business, to try to help them along too. And so that's a possibility as far as marketing goes.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I like that. I never thought about that. So talk with me a little bit about your food. I know the presentation is amazing. The salads are colorful. The crepes are amazing. The burritos are delicious. What's your most popular burrito?
Probably Spam.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We were surprised too.
Yeah, we at the beginning when we were doing menu development, that came up. Like, what kind of burritos are we gonna have? And I kind of feel that it was kind of like a joke almost. Like, let's put some Spam in there, because it's a native-owned business, and there are natives here in Farmington. But just being in this area, and the demographic in this area, we kind of felt that, I don't know, people might be like, what is that? But it's just really amazing how much people like it.
Yeah.
Even the non-natives, they're like eating it up. It's like, whoa. So it's really, it's neat.
As far as the menu, so developing it, I really wanted to incorporate native inspired ingredients and dishes, recipes that a lot of us probably grew up with, and mostly things that were familiar, that somebody would come through here and find, like, oh, okay, I know that, but maybe put a little spin on it, and gear it towards a coffee shop atmosphere. And some of the ingredients that we've been using so far: blue corn flour. We've been getting it from Nappy. As part of our mission to utilize local native-made ingredients and products. And we also get their flour. We use their flour in our tortillas and fry bread, along with their cedar ash. And eventually I want to use more of their products, because they have quite a few things to offer. And eventually also I want to venture out to, like, the Ute tribe. They produce their own foods there. Maybe the Apaches and Pueblos, try to gather as much native grown products and try to incorporate it into our dishes. So that was kind of the idea behind it. And then the blue corn crepes you asked about, they're inspired by a traditional Dine dish. It's called a benes mase. And it's kind of like a thin pancake-like bread that I guess our grandmas and moms used to make.
Yeah.
So a lot of them probably still do. And milk is incorporated with it. It's really fluffy and pliable. And when I saw that, and when, I guess we like to eat when we travel and stuff, and we like to experiment with foods, and it was just so amazing how similar it was to the French crepe. And it's a dish that we've served as part of our catering menu in the past, and it just kind of worked,
Yeah.
And so I wanted to put it on the menu, like, cool, we're putting this on the menu. And then the blue corn bowl is kind of our take on the like a smoothie bowl or an acai bowl or an oatmeal bowl. It's a lot of coffee shops serve that, so it's our take on it, I guess, our version of that dish. We also we wanted to incorporate more fresh things, like salads and more colorful ingredients, just to kind of stray away from a lot of the corporate restaurants here in town offering something different.
Yeah.
But we wanted to keep it small also. We didn't want a really big menu because we also wanted to kind of highlight our coffee. The nearest roaster we could find in this area that was local was in Durango, and so we're using them as a roaster, and they're 81301 roasting company.
Okay.
They're located in Durango. So we went to them, and they kind of taught us a lot about this whole business of coffee, of espresso, coffee beans, and kind of mentored us and trained us to be where we're at today. And so that's a component of the menu also. It's not just the food component, it's also the coffee component as well, which is like a whole world in itself, the whole coffee business industry and all of that. It's exciting, and there's so much to learn. But Hamilton can talk about that because that's kind of his specialty.
So are you the barista?
Yeah, I try to be. But to add on a little bit to Bertina, along with our menu, we wanted to get into coffee. Personally, I wanted to get into coffee because I felt that it was something safe to get into. I feel that people aren't going to stop drinking coffee for a long time, for the foreseeable future anyway. For some time, people, I think, are still going to continue to drink coffee. And, just taking it back, like growing up, there was always coffee at the table. Someone was always brewing coffee, and just how that was, involved, or just how that was a component of food on the table. There was always coffee, and we wanted to, kind of bring that into what it is that we're doing here. Not only food, but there's coffee, food and beverage, I guess you would say, kind of like bringing people together. But yeah, the coffee I wanted to get into because I felt that it's not going anywhere, and it's awesome, it's like she was saying, it's a world in itself, and I enjoy going to coffee shops wherever we go. They have their own like vibe, they have their own like culture in there, just the people that you get to meet, and it's just amazing, how I've come to like have a passion for coffee, just the whole process that it goes through that one bean, from the time it's planted to where I'm literally like the last hands to pass that off. That whole process it went through, I'm the one to try to make it, taste as good as possible, to serve it to the people. And I really enjoy that, and I think that that's one thing that we're trying to do with our coffee, is to try to serve it, I am anyway, in its most natural form. There's like so many methods to brewing it, and I am trying to keep it in its most natural form. I want people to taste their coffee. That's what I want. I'm not knocking other people, other companies, they're doing their thing, other kind of variations of drinks, but that's not what we're trying to do here. I want people to come in, I want people to enjoy coffee the way that, it should taste.
Right.
Because I've had some really great experiences, from the time we started this journey until now, in tasting really good coffee, and it's like, wow. And, people would tell me, that that's how coffee is supposed to taste. And one guy told me too, he was like, if you have to put cream and sugar in your coffee, you're not drinking the right coffee. And that stuck to me, it's just amazing, how you can like geek out on it, and just ratios and methods and all that, and the different flavors that it can give off, and to be able to taste that. It's just like the food in a sense. It brings that kind of enjoyment, and to make people happy in that way it's cool. I enjoy that.
That's awesome. Definitely sounds like you all are passionate about coffee and food and presentation. I think that's extremely important. Is there anything else you all would like to add?
Yeah, you have to, just to tail off of what you said, that passion is important. I think that going back to being an entrepreneur, you have to have a passion. I think that it's your passion that's going to make you stand out. It's your passion, most importantly, I think, that's going to get you through the tough times. because like you said earlier, and like we said earlier, it's not easy being an entrepreneur. It's not easy working for yourself. It's really hard, and I think in those trying times, your passion and what it is that you're doing, that's going to pull you through.
What about you, Bertina?
Not really. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. How can people contact you? Social media?
Yeah. Social media as Juniper Coffee Eatery. They can come by the shop for sure. Email, maybe. All our contact information's on social media. So,
Okay.
Or you can just Google it.
Or you can Google it, yeah.
Everything comes up, whether it's water,
and a link will lead you to another link, and best thing to do is just come in and talk to us, and we're here.
That's awesome. So we're all set. So if you are in Farmington, New Mexico, border town, right on the river, come check out Juniper Coffee and Eatery. They're right across from San Juan College, the really big white buildings on College Boulevard. Food is amazing. Coffee is amazing. Atmosphere is pretty cool. I actually just did a review on Google for you all. Carrie and I have been trying to send as many people as we know here to you all, and that's one thing that Carrie and I do too, is we try to support small businesses, in particular native small businesses. So we're trying to bring any friends and clients here. So keep up the good work, and everyone we've heard says some really good positive things about you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I don't know if it was at the end of it or.
Oh no, you can continue to talk. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
So if you edited it or not, but if that's the end of it, I just wanted to say something really quick. I know that this is your podcast. That people are going to hear it, in particular, probably other entrepreneurs, and I just wanted to let them know, those that are listening, that it's very, 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 very possible to do it, to work for yourself. Maybe they're looking for a source of inspiration. Maybe, they're not too sure, or maybe they're hesitant. Should I do this? Is it worth it? Maybe, they're feeling somehow about it. I just want to let them know that it's possible. You can do it, and that with, a dream, your passion, with whatever you're trying to do, and a lot of hard work, it's going to come about. It will come about. I always felt that, and I tell my children this, I tell my wife this, and then other youngsters that come in here, across the college, I tell them that, my testament today, with how far we've come over the years and where we're at today, is that true, honest, sincere, hard work, it will not go unnoticed. There'll be a payoff for it. It'll get noticed somehow, way, shape, or form, whatever it is that you're doing, And I just, that's one thing that we want this place to be. I know that we talk about it a lot, and we didn't get to talk about it earlier, but we want this place to be like a source of inspiration. In particular, the Native community. Not trying to discriminate,
right,
or nothing like that, but we want to show them, the young people, the generation, our generation and down, maybe some generation above us, the older ones, but that is possible. You can do it, and like I was saying, with just some hard work and some dreams and goals, shoot, you can do it too, and we want to motivate, we want to inspire, we want to show people that, we can do it too, in particular natives, There's nothing wrong with us. Just because you grew up on the reservation, maybe you were born in a hogan, you grew up in a hogan, you herded sheep, you didn't have running water, electricity, that should by no means limit you, to wanting to do something that you want to do in this world, in society, So I just wanted to add that on, and that's one of our main driving forces here, is that, we want to be an inspiration to our people, kind of like stand up for our people in a way,
Make a contribution.
Make a contribution.
Right.
There you go, most importantly. So I just wanted to add that in there real quick.
I just want to add one more thing too.
Yes, go ahead. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're here. If anybody has any questions, they're starting up something similar, we're more than happy to help you and to kind of steer you, guide you in the right direction. we don't know everything. We're still learning on a daily basis. But to anyone out there that's trying to do something, that has questions, kind of coming across some obstacles, we're here. We'll help you. We want to serve as a resource for you, because they're not that easy to find, and we want to be able to provide some information to you. And if we can't answer your questions, we'll refer you to somebody else. Eventually, we'd like it to be kind of a hub here, to where we can direct people in the right direction. Like, okay, well, you need an accountant, go over here to
Right.
Peter, and
Mm-hmm.
he might be able to answer some
Right.
questions for you. And just to kind of make it things more accessible.
Right.
And easily accessible for entrepreneurs, native entrepreneurs, because I know there are more and more every day, and we need you guys.
Yeah, definitely. We need more businesses, native-owned businesses.
That's so true. That's honestly why I wanted to interview you too, because I think that's an important component, is the networking component, and being a resource for other people, because I mean, your experience is pretty powerful in what you guys have gone through. Whether even the struggles, right? And I think you made a comment earlier that that you guys just did it, right? And I think a lot of times I listen to people talk and they say that if I wouldn't have just tried, it was just an idea. That's all it would have been, was just an idea.
Yeah.
But I think that definitely came out in the conversation that we had tonight, and I do appreciate you guys sharing your story, and I know my podcasts where people talk about their business actually do really well.
Sure.
Other than that, I mean, it's pretty powerful to hear what you guys have to talk about. So I do thank you all for taking time out of your schedule and away time from your family. So
Awesome.
So we'll end it. So all right, we're all good. Hello, listeners. I hope you enjoyed this episode, listening to the challenges and the tribulations of the guests that I had today. Please follow me on 21st Century Native Leaders. Go to my page, give my page a like for future episodes, and also for quotes from books that I read, articles that I read. And the pictures are from Indian country, in particular the Navajo Nation. So I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully you come back and hear another future episode. Have a good day.